The power of the subconscious. Any dominating idea, plan, or purpose held in your conscious mind through repeated effort and emotionalized by a burning desire for its realization is taken over by the subconscious and acted upon through whatever natural and logical means may be available. The only thing over which you have complete right of control at all times is your mental attitude. Right of control means that you can control it. It does not mean that you do control it. You must learn to exercise this right as a matter of habit. The conscious mind is where reasoning and thinking occur. It analyzes information and data, and it acts as a guardian of the doorway to the subconscious. The conscious mind develops as a result of experience. The subconscious mind does not think, reason, or deliberate. It acts instinctively in response to basic emotions. The differences in people are due to the ways they have trained their conscious minds. Subconsciously, we are all very much alike. The subconscious can be compared with a car, while the conscious mind can be considered the driver. The power is in the car, not the driver. The driver must learn to release and direct that power. The subconscious mind receives any image that is transferred to it by the conscious mind under strong emotion. Think of the pair as a camera. The conscious mind acts as a lens, concentrating the image of your desires and bringing them to a point on the film of the subconscious. Getting good pictures with this camera is the same as it is with any other. The focus must be sharp, there must be good exposure, and the timing must be right. Correct focus requires a clear definition of purpose. The composition of the photo must be made with care and precision. You decide what to include in the frame. The proper timing is determined by the intensity of your desire at the moment of exposure. Experienced photographers rarely take just one shot of an important image. They work at it again and again until they get the photo they want. This sort of repeated exposure of the subconscious to the image of your desire is crucial. You must work at the process repeatedly until you have transferred the exact image you want into your subconscious mind. Don't be afraid of working yourself up into a highly emotional state when you are impressing images upon your subconscious. When your purpose is a worthy one, you don't need to fear this type of auto-suggestion. The intensity with which you impress your subconscious with a picture of your plan directly affects the speed with which the subconscious will go to work and attract the picture's physical counterpart by inspiring you to take the right steps. Making your subconscious work for you is only the first of many steps. You will not succeed if you cannot convince other people to cooperate with you, and if you do not live in accordance with strict standards. But let's assume you have developed the necessary definiteness of purpose. You are now likely to ask an obvious question. Where do I get the resources to implement my plan? The first step from poverty to riches is the most difficult. The key is to realize that all the riches and all the material goods that you acquire through your own efforts begin with your having a clear, concise picture of what you seek. When that picture grows to be an obsession with you, you will find that your every action leads you toward its acquisition. Andrew Carnegie's life again provides an excellent example. Once he knew he wanted to make steel, he fed that desire until it was the driving force in his life. He then turned to a friend, similarly broke, but smart enough to recognize the value of his idea. Because he was impressed by the power of Carnegie's obsession, the friend joined forces with Carnegie. Their combined enthusiasm was sufficient to convince two others. These four people became the nucleus of Carnegie's empire. They formed a mastermind group. Together they were able to find the capital necessary to pursue Carnegie's obsession, and each of them made a vast fortune as a result. It was not sheer hard work that made these men successful. You probably know several people who work as hard as you do at anything they try, perhaps even harder than you, and are never successful. Education isn't the reason either. Sam Walton never won a Rhodes Scholarship, but he made more money than anyone who ever studied at Oxford. Great success is the result of one's understanding and using a positive mental attitude, PMA. Your mental attitude gives power to everything you do. Having a positive mental attitude means that your actions and thoughts further your ends. Having a negative mental attitude means that you are constantly undermining your own efforts. As you build your desire into an obsession and develop definiteness of purpose, you will also build and develop your positive mental attitude. It would be foolish to suppose that having developed your definiteness of purpose and PMA, you will immediately find that you have the resources you need. The speed at which you acquire these will depend on the size of your needs and on the control you exercise to keep your mind free of fear, doubt, and self-imposed limitations. If you need $10,000 for your definite major purpose, you may be able to marshal it in a few days or even hours by impressing others with the quality of your enthusiasm and vision. If you require $1 million, it's likely to take longer. An important variable in this process is just exactly what it is you offer in exchange for that $10,000 or $1 million. The time required to deliver the service or the equivalent value you intend to supply is also significant. You must be clear about what it is that you will give before you can expect to get in return. No one gets something for nothing. People who have money to give will expect to receive something in return, a product, a service, an increase in their own capital. You will not be successful overnight. In fact, you will not be successful until you have returned to everyone who has aided you everything that he or she is due. Your definite major purpose must include provisions for doing this. You may be nodding your head in agreement with this and deciding you will surely make this happen, but unless you have an extraordinarily disciplined mind, it is not enough to envision this part and every other part of your plan. You must write them down. Writing out your definite major purpose forces you to be specific about it. It reminds you of its strengths and will expose its weaknesses. If you cannot put what it is you're going to do into words, it's probably because you are not as sure about it as you think. Once you have written your plan, read it aloud to yourself at least once every day. This fuels your obsession and reinforces its nature in your mind. When you face a choice about how to proceed, having your written definite major purpose to read will clarify your goals and make sure that you continue to progress toward them. Even better, once you have assembled your mastermind group, you ensure that everyone stays focused on the same ends by use of a written plan. No single mind is complete. No one person can answer every question. But two or more minds, united behind a definite major purpose and working in harmony to achieve it, will accomplish great things. There are numerous examples of this power. Christ himself made an alliance with his disciples to carry out his work. The plan was his own, but it survived betrayal and his absence to achieve a success beyond human comprehension. Striving for success has its detractors. Some people will argue that those who acquire wealth do so at the expense of the people who work for them. But if you are going to achieve success, you will do so only by extraordinary effort that most people are not willing to make. People seldom profit by having money unless they earn it. How many times have you read about lottery winners who find themselves bankrupt only a few years after their windfalls? Or about heirs to great fortunes reared in atmospheres of indulgence who fall prey to addictions like alcohol or gambling? The value of the wealth that comes with success is that it carries with it the lessons you have learned in acquiring it. You will learn in achieving wealth that success comes about only because you are willing to assume great responsibility and to deliver unfailingly goods and services which are truly valuable. Most people would not choose to be as dedicated to a definite major purpose as you must be. If you were to accumulate a fortune and then offer it to them on the condition that they behave exactly as you have done, most would not accept the responsibility, but some would. It is the people who would make such a choice who will be most helpful to you. They can offer you aid of untold value, far above and beyond the efforts of those who are easily contented. They will become indispensable to you by their willingness to assume responsibility and relieve you of some of the load you are carrying. You must be willing to reward them generously for their efforts. People like this learn that they set their own salaries by the quality of their work. Everyone, in fact, does the same. A person's salary is determined by the sort of service he or she renders, the quantity and quality of that service, plus the mental attitude under which it is rendered. If millions of people are struggling to get by on the salaries they earn, it is because their highest aim is only to hold the jobs that they currently have. They are where they are, and they are making what they make solely because of the limitations they have set up in their own minds.